Hi, I'm Nick Nanton, and welcome to Times Square Today, the morning show that matters. I've got a great guest for you today, Mr. Stephen Devlin. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick. What an amazing opportunity to be here.
It's great to have you. I know you're a best-selling author, you're an expert, you're here in New York City to receive an XP Award, so we had you come on out. So tell our viewers a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis when you're not traveling to Hollywood and New York and everything else.
I live in Vancouver, Canada. Fairly warm there. Similar to New York weather right now. Bottom line, what I do is I help people make sense of their money. Really try to educate people about money, jack up their intelligence around money, help them to eliminate debt from their life. And ultimately, we teach people how to have a set-free life financially without taking unnecessary risks. So it's been an amazing journey that I've taken since 2008.
Very cool. Those are all good things that you help people do. Now, tell me this. What was the kind of turning point in your life and your career that you said, you know what, I want to do this?
You know, it usually starts with pain. People go through issues in their life. And for us, we got into a bad franchise. It just didn't work out. Could have easily have worked out for us,
right,
but it didn't. And it put our family in some really big hardship financially, you know, to the point where we didn't know what to do. I had to liquidate assets. And a mentor of mine at that time showed me what was going on with my money. I was a disaster financially in terms of the interest I was paying out. I really honestly didn't understand how money worked. Here I am, 43, fairly intelligent guy.
Right.
Didn't really understand how banks worked. The banks really said no to us when we needed help. And that really got me motivated to learn about how to be my own banker and to eliminate the banks from our life.
I love it. Now, I think there's a lot of confusion in the financial world. There's a lot of people who will say, I'm a financial advisor or what. But tell us a little bit about the state of that industry right now.
It couldn't be a better time to be an advisor. I think that ultimately you need to have trust with a client. You know, you have to build relationships. And I love my clients. They're an asset to me. And I hope they like me. I think they do. But you also want to be reachable. Is key. And I think in the industry, certainly there are great advisors, but at the end of the day, it's all about the client's needs first. And clients really are dissatisfied people generally, North America, whether US or Canada, of what's going on with their money. It's uncertain, and they want to have more predictability, and they want to have guarantees. So it's really been an amazing opportunity to teach people.
I think you're right, Stephen. And now, I like to ask really smart people this question, because I like to hear their answer. What would you, if you had to go back 20 years, you had to tell startup Stephen, as you're just getting started in business as an entrepreneur, what would you say to yourself?
Well, I think that came from my schooling in the Bahamas. I was homeschooled, actually back further than 20 years. And it was more about learning how to be disciplined and how to have an ability to self-study and self-learn. So that helped me to understand that I really wanted to be my own boss. I mean, I can only name maybe 3 companies I worked for in my lifetime where I had an employer-employee relationship. So I learned quickly that I wanted to be in control of my own environment and create wealth for myself. And that's where it started, is learning how to get out there and be that entrepreneur and take the risks.
That's a cool story. I'm sure it was rough being in the Bahamas for a while, I'm sure, and then moving to Vancouver. But tell me this, I've watched your success and you seem to crush it at everything you do. How have you learned to stay so far ahead of the curve?
I think it's key thing to this is ultimately being part of a group of people who are super smart and successful. I think it's getting out of your comfort zone and meeting people who are successful and learning from what they do to separate yourself and really ultimately get out there and help more people and stay ahead. I mean, you know, the industry, it really isn't competitive. There's always these niche markets. People will always be attracted to certain things about advisors and what they can do in certain products. So we take a holistic approach and ultimately have that relationship. I think it's key in Canada. Plus what we specialize in Canada with being your own banker, the bank on yourself concept, really pushes us to another level.
Love it. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this who say, I need that, I want that. How do they reach you, Stephen?
Well, I'm a big believer in education, and that's part of the big process is learning. So we give out books, tons of information. We don't want to put a fire hose on people, but we'll gradually give them information. So go to macdevfinancial.com and download a free chapter from my book, The Secret to Lifetime Financial Security. We'll get to know you a little bit better, and then I'll mail you a free book, and then continue to educate you about the process, how this works for you ultimately.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Devlin, financial expert, best-selling author, a guy who can teach you how to bank on yourself, and he's right here on Times Square today, and we'll be bringing you even more great experts here on Times Square today, so join us and come back soon.
Thank you.